The soul is not only a concept, it is the very essence of what you are. So if the true goal of psychology is to help humans to get rid of their mental problem, but also to become better person, it is fundamental that the soul becomes a part of the equation of the debate. And in this video, we will discuss three main reasons why we should talk overtly about the soul. One about self-development, the other on mental health, and the third about being human. Bear with me. Well, to be comfortable in life is very important. We need money, we need friends, we need to be loved, we need to be famous, recognized professionally. All this is important. But none of these resources will give you a meaning in life, because the meaning comes from within. And in your soul, there are basic values, virtues, personality strength, call them however you want. But those virtues need to get expressed out in life. And your life will be only meaningful if you can express them. So it's not about an achievement, an external achievement, because people may decide whether you are good or not good at it. But whenever you express those values, just the fact of expressing them is its own source of motivation. So when you are sticking to your values, you don't need so much of external reward, and you are much more resistant to all sorts of punishment, because you know that you are doing what is meaningful for you. And the core of self-development is the capacity to become who you are, become what you are, as Nietzsche is presenting it. And basically, it's as if we are all artists, and we all have something that needs to flourish. And when we can express it, we can have a lot of problems, but all life gets very meaningful. Since the grim discovery of psychoanalysis, we know that in our soul there are demons. And well, of course, nowadays we call them complexes, pathology, personality disorder, neurosis, psychosis. But basically, it is some blind and unconscious force that will cause us to do a lot of harm for our own life and to others' life. And it is scary. But if you have an understanding that those forces are force of your soul, actually they are the expression of a virtue that hasn't found yet an opportunity to express positively. And therapy is not about cutting off those strengths, but rather to transmute those negative force into positivity. But to do that, we need to have a very deep understanding on how a virtue can turn into a vice, and how to revert the vice into virtue. And this is hard work in therapy. But with an orientation to the soul, it becomes possible to stare at the most painful part of your existence as a potential quality that needs to be discovered and developed. The third reason is a more philosophical one, but it has a big impact in our relationship. So as far as we perceive people as mind, we cannot help but comparing ourselves to others. and to decide who is better, who is smarter, who is more successful. Because basically the mind is adaptive and some people are more adapted than others. That's a fact. But from the moment we start to realize that the core of the psyche is not the mind but the soul, we get able to perceive people no longer as purely as mind, but also as soul. So instead of measuring them and assess who is better and who's worse, we get access to the unfathomable dimension of their being. And as soul, we cannot really compare to one to another because we are somehow all the same and all different. But being able to perceive others as soul makes us much more human. And we also understand when people get very annoying and very controlled by those very negative tendency, is that people are prisoner by the misunderstanding of those blind force and those potential virtues. So we get much more patient. So the third reason to insist upon the soul is because it makes our relationship more human. Talking about the soul could be potentially life-changing, but it comes also with a risk. Because as we know very little about what's going on in the soul, much less than what's going on in the mind, whatever we may think or imagine is so subject to very strong distortion, projection, and whatever, that there is a very high risk. We start to lose our common sense, we start to bullshit, or to get completely irrational. So basically, in order to prevent falling into that trap, you would need a mental preparation to deal with the soul. You would need a personal exploration. You would need to gain the support of a community, and most of all, you will need a tradition. And those requirements, we will discuss them in the next video.